As we continue for the next several weeks to explore how God helps us deal with fear, I want to remind you that God tells us through Paul talking to Timothy that God doesn't give us a spirit of fear or timidity, but of power and a sound mind. That means we're empowered to think clearly, to see reality for what it actually is. It's not something that we're pretending that things are better than they are. He actually helps us handle reality better. One of the biggest fears that almost everybody struggles with, especially here in America these days, is called fear of missing out. People abbreviate it FOMO. You might have heard of this. Pretty sure you have. But fear of missing out actually drives us to do a lot of good things and bad things. Fear of missing out is one of the reasons why we pursue milestones in our lives, finishing school or buying a house or getting a job or several other things like that. We want to experience life to the full. However, sometimes that caucus race of just busyness just is actually what makes us miss out on what life is supposed to be. The frenetic energy, just the relentless pursuit of trying not to miss out on anything makes us actually miss out on the joy that doing one or two things could do. So what's the solution? Well, we've got to fear God more than anything or anyone else, and we've got to fear missing out on His perfect will for us more than we fear missing out everything else. It's not that those other things don't have any appeal. It's not that we never stop being afraid of missing out on those things. But when we fear missing out on God's perfect will even more, that's actually what the Bible calls the beginning of wisdom. It's where we start actually seeing life the way it really works. Another thing we should fear is fear not fully knowing our Father, not really knowing or understanding His love for us. One of the most famous parables in the Bible is the parable of the prodigal son. I love how it paints such a clear picture not only of the prodigal son, the one who ran away, but also the one who stays and their father. And to me, I think the father is the key figure in this whole story. See, the one son, he runs away. He's so afraid of missing out that he actually has his dad give him his inheritance way early. And he runs away and then wastes it. And then without his father's grace, he's absolutely guaranteed of missing out on anything good the rest of his life. And he finally wises up and goes home and confesses and gets reunited with his father. Meanwhile, his other brother, who was wise enough never to be so crazy and reckless and heartless and mean, he stays home, but he's missing out the whole time and doesn't realize it. He's living every day, owning everything that's still there and doesn't know it. He's living with a father who loves him and cares about him and respects the choices he's making and doesn't even feel or experience that love. And the whole time, the father is there reaching out to both of them, loving both of them, doing things that don't even make sense to me, honestly, but they make sense to him because he believes they're going to restore relationship. They're ultimately going to lead to those guys' ultimate happiness. And again, this is the secret to dealing with the fear of missing out. We actually have to realize that God is the one who defines reality as it is. God is that ultimate Father who knows exactly how each one of us think, how each one of us feel, and what He really has in store for us that we can't even imagine. So if we are wise enough to not run away, if we're wise enough to stay, it's also important that we don't miss out on what we already have, that we don't miss out on the relationship that's available to us with our Father, that we don't miss out on His love, the daily wisdom, the daily love, the daily encouragement, the daily comfort, the daily guidance that He wants to give us. How much of life He's already given us if we have already chosen to make Him our Lord and our Father. So whatever it is today that maybe you're tempted to run away from God, you need to be more afraid of losing what He's given you than you are of missing out on that thing. And if you're a wise person and you're staying faithful to God, don't miss out on just spending time with Him today.